Hello there and welcome. My name is Gail Porter and you're tuned into Careers TV, our guide to Britain's often confusing 21st century job market. In today's programme, we're going to be focusing on careers in business and management, taking a broad spectrum view on how to get ahead in the business world from a managerial perspective. We'll be crossing the sector divide to bring you advice and insight on general business and management from major sectors of British economy. We'll be looking at finance, education and manufacturing, as well as experts from the Careers Advisory Service themselves. Now, there are thousands of different definitions of what management means. According to Pakistani impresario Agha Hassan Abedi, the conventional definition of management is getting work done through people, but real management is developing people through work. Author and entrepreneur Paul Hawken believes that good management is the art of making problems so interesting and their solutions so constructive that everyone wants to get to work and deal with them. Whereas former Secretary of State and four-star General Colin Powell said that organisation doesn't really accomplish anything. Plans don't accomplish anything either. Theories of management don't much matter. Endeavours succeed or fail because of the people involved. Only by attracting the best people will you accomplish great deeds. From those three different views, we can see that there's no one way to look at management, and we'll be hearing a lot more about it from our interviewees in due course. But for now, let's hear some background examples of how our professionals started out in their careers and what their jobs entail on a day-to-day basis.
My role involves meeting a lot of people. So it's important that I'm good at communicating with people, be that the chief executive of the business or a line manager in one of our plants. It's important that I know these people quite well, not only so that they know who to turn to when they need to communicate with someone, but also so I can keep an ear to the ground as to what's going on in the business and help people communicate when need be.
My name's Anne Williams. I'm the principal of West Suffolk College. Principal Chief Executive, so that means that my responsibility is the overall management of the college. I suppose at the one hand it's about setting strategy and where we're going for the future, and at the other hand it's about ensuring that that's implemented and managing all of our staff and ensuring that the staff are going with us to take us in the direction that we want to go in.
My name is Stephen Peck. I'm a Business Development Manager for the Cooperative Bank. My role entails driving new corporate business for the bank. The real kick for us as business development managers is getting the deal done. The deals can take sometimes 2, 3, 4 months from the start to the end of the transaction, and I think everybody gets a buzz within our team when the deal completes and the customer gets what their requirements are.
My role at the moment is looking after foreign currency, our exposure in the market, foreign exchange transactions, making sure our suppliers are paid and company expenses.
My role is Partner and Proposition Manager for the Careers Advice Service, and what I do is essentially look at what our customers are saying about the service and really try to improve the service that we deliver to individuals, to clients, to people out there, members of the public, that sort of thing.
In terms of getting a job, there are really just 2 steps to take once you've decided what you want. Nail your application and excel at an interview. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But just what makes a good application, and what can you do at interview to impress? What is the secret to making yourself the ideal applicant?
I think a good applicant is someone that understands what an employer wants. I think that's the key, really, and how they can match up to that. And they also need to be very clear about what it is that they have to offer, that the employer is going to need. So there's someone that's put quite a bit of time and effort into it, shown a bit of care and attention in their application, and they know quite a lot about the employer that they're applying to. There's a lot of qualities, I think, that are important that most employers would look for, really, and that's things like enthusiasm, positivity, willingness to learn is really important in a kind of changing working world. So those sorts of things that make a good applicant, I think.
I think a good application is in terms of thorough completion of whether it's the application form or the online application form as well, to really bring out skills that you feel that you have, not academic qualifications because that's a core base, but bringing out experiences that you might have had previously of working in a team, working with customers, And if you haven't had those experiences, thinking through what other things you might have done in your school or your graduates or other areas that you work in with your community, which would be skill sets that you could bring to us in terms of to show that you will fit into our environment and to feel that you will be comfortable in working in this environment. I'd always suggest that somebody does some research about the company. Just don't put a job application in for the sake of the fact that there's vacancies in that business at that point in time. Do a little bit of research, look on the websites and find out in effect what makes that company tick and what makes me tick, and do I think this might be a good match going forward. One of the areas we've talked about and we've now implemented within our contact centres is lots and lots of people really enjoy working in a contact centre environment. But if you haven't worked there, how do you know you're actually going to like it? So in our selection process, we've brought in a very simple questionnaire which we encourage people to do that says whether you will actually fit in that type of environment or you won't. And we can be really honest with people right up front and saying, actually, looks like you'll be a really good fit with what we're looking for, or perhaps this isn't the natural career route for you and perhaps you'd like to look at some of the other opportunities we've got.
I think there's a few steps with interviews that are really important. I think what often happens when we talk to people about interviews is that they feel nervous. They feel, and that's often because they've not had much experience of interviews. You don't tend to have loads and loads and loads of interviews, you just maybe have one or two. So it's understandable that you might be a bit nervous. What we would do with interviews is we'd talk people through how to kind of get some background on the company. That's really important, through the internet, or if possible, if you can actually make some contact with someone that works there, that's really important. I think also it's important to know about yourself, know what's on your CV and back it up with some anecdotes. We do have callers that sometimes call us on the night before an interview, and it can be a little bit panic stations, and we're often there to calm them down really and give them an opportunity to talk about themselves and to tell us a few stories about how they use their skills, which you can just feel the kind of sense of relief once they've got that out with us. So we talk about that as well. That's really important, because what you're trying to do really is to sort of flesh out what you've already described on the CV. And I think we're in a good position to let you have a bit of a rehearsal over the phone about that.
When we're interviewing, we're certainly looking for what are the key skills that we would want in a teacher and that would fit our organisation, and the experience that they have. And yes, you get very used to making the judgment. You rarely make a mistake that this person will suit that post.
If you've just come straight out of school or after graduation, you might be in need of a helping hand to get yourself on the right career path. One step is to take it upon yourself to do the research into the industry and companies that you're interested in working for. Another is to get on the blower to your local careers advisory service and organise a rendezvous with a qualified careers advisor.
The Careers Advice Service was essentially set up 10 years ago. We're actually celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, actually. And the vision behind the service was really to provide a universal service that all adults could access in order to really find out about local learning opportunities and also how to really start to invigorate or even change their career. So the whole thinking behind the organisation was really to try and encourage adults to take charge of their career paths and even take charge of their learning, rather than to encourage a culture where people just weren't engaging in lifelong learning. Careers advice is intrinsically important in the whole adult skills agenda. What we've learned over the last 10 years of delivering this service is that without very sort of high quality, impartial careers advice, then people can make the wrong choices about what they do in life. And what that ultimately ends up in is a lower skilled workforce, a poorer qualified workforce, and we want to change that. The way in which we are going to address that is by giving people the opportunity to receive impartial, very personalised, one-to-one, in-depth careers advice to really help individuals make the informed choice about which career path they would like to follow, and also to really try to break down the barriers that could be preventing them from participating in citizenship and lifelong learning in general.